Alright everyone, and especially gamers, I should say, because this is actually a movie review for one of the newest movies that just recently released, and that is for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Yes, growing up in the 90s, Sonic the Hedgehog was one big part of my childhood. It is the #1 gaming franchise that got me to play a Sega Genesis, because, well, like most people that played sports games and all that stuff that Sega Genesis is known for, Sonic is the game that sucked me in because primarily I grew up with Nintendo, and seeing the original Sonic cartoon I grew up with and the franchise kind of get rather abused over the years, especially when it made its transition into 3D. That's been hit or miss lately. And when it came to a movie, as you know, it was in production hell for many years. So yeah, I did a review on it a few years ago, and even though, despite all the trouble it went through with releasing, which originally was supposed to be in the end of 2019, and all the fan rants that it got when the first trailer released, and the horrific design that Sonic had, even after the design change, which thankfully the studio responded to all the rants and negative reception that fans gave the design, and changed it. They knew they had to because it looked awful. But even after that, I didn't think the first movie was going to do that great. I mean, bringing Sonic the Hedgehog, an animated talking animal character, into the real world, interacting with real world people, and even with Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman, whatever the hell you call him, as the main villain, it still didn't really blow me away. I still thought it was really going to suck, so I took my shot, and surprisingly, yeah, the change to Sonic worked, and it was worth it. It wasn't a masterpiece film, but like most people, you just gotta have a good, fun time and just kind of lose yourself and enjoy it for what it is. Yeah, it was very enjoyable. Ben Schwartz was the perfect casting choice to voice Sonic the Hedgehog alongside James Marsden, and of course Jim Carrey was enjoyable to watch as the villain. I mean, you can tell just how much fun he was having. It showed that video game movies can work, and others have worked too as well. So I was anticipating a sequel, which obviously was hinted during the mid-credit scene with none other than, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the first one, but who cares because it's in the trailer for this movie, Tails. And as well as Tails, Knuckles is also hinted in the trailer. So no spoilers there. And the casting choices for them too as well, especially for Knuckles, voiced by Idris Elba, I thought was a really good casting choice. And of course Jim Carrey, you knew he's going to come back as Dr. Eggman or Robotnik, whatever you would call him. You saw the trailer, and so how is this movie? Well, all I could say is if you love the first one, you'll definitely enjoy this one. It is just good fun, popcorn entertainment. Again, just like the first one, you just gotta lose yourself. Don't expect a masterpiece, just expect a good fun, silly time, and that's what you get. Ben Schwartz, once again, does not disappoint voicing the Blue Hedgehog, and James Marsden raises him again like a father alongside his wife, and of course Tails and Knuckles come into picture, alongside Dr. Robotnik, who makes a return, and he has just as much fun as ever if you enjoyed seeing him in the last movie. There's a few references to other films that you might notice that he was in before, like when he kicks the little tractor thing, and okay, there might be some minor to moderate spoilers in this review, so just keep that in mind, people. If you haven't seen the movie, you might not want to watch the rest of the video, but I'll keep spoilers, the major stuff, to a minimum. But otherwise, yes, the animation and everything works out great. All the scenes in this movie, some may not have much major purpose to the plot. I mean, some are just the characters goofing off, having a good time, because Sonic is trusted with the house on his own, while our two main human characters are away in Hawaii. And it kind of develops another plot that may not make sense to the main one, but it's still enjoyable, especially when you get one fight scene towards the middle of the movie. But you focus more on the main plot with Dr. Robotnik, or Eggman, trying to acquire the so-called Chaos Emerald, the big green gem. So there's a lot of fan service that goes on in this movie, and that's what you get in this. He teams up with Knuckles, a rather interestingly twisted friendship for the most part, which most of you die-hard Sonic fans probably know which direction it goes in. And so you get a lot of good action in here, and stuff that you would expect to see if you played most of the Sonic games. Like if you remember Sonic 3 with the winter level and you go snowboarding down, you get a lot of silly puns, a lot of silly references like with the Winter Soldier. And yeah, there are other brief references to non-Sonic related movies like Poltergeist and Ghostbusters, just to name a few. But getting back to the Sonic video game references, remember the Tropical Island level in Sonic 3? Got sort of a reference to that when he goes to Hawaii. And then not long after that, pretty much all of you have to remember those annoying ass underwater levels that when you stay underwater too long you get that freaking annoying ass timer which has you searching and gasping for bubbles, otherwise you die. Well, that's what he does when he tries to go across the water to the island where the Chaos Emerald is. As well as the airplane that Tails flies, nice little reference to Sonic 2 and 3 there, as well as any of you who remember the sort of Sonic version of Tetris, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean machine, the coffee shop has the name Mean Bean. Okay, pretty cool reference there. As well as, of course, for any of you, and I remember this most from Sonic 2, the very last fight against Dr. Robotnik, the giant-ass suit that he walks around in. And this time around, it's a hell of a lot bigger, so that's as far as I'll go with spoilers right there. But all I could say is, yeah, the action and everything, especially in that climax, is fantastic. And yes, just like the last movie, there is a mid-credit scene. Might be hinting another sequel, and supposedly there's going to be a spin-off series, but other than that, way to go, Sega. You've done a great job, and Paramount as well, of making a great sequel to a rather enjoyable video game movie that exceeded expectations even after all the trouble it went through. And, well, way to go for the cover art, too. Almost nearly resembling what the original Sonic 2 game did on Sega Genesis. Man, they knew what they were doing right there, so all I could say is a good ring-filled fun good time, which is deserving of a rockin' Wii Motion Plus up and a plain Weird Mode up. Trust me, it's not a masterpiece, just enjoy it for what it is. So, till next time, keep watching.